Hey everyone, it's Joel with Backroad Builds. Welcome back to another episode of the Backyard Bar Project. Since last time, I was able to build a wall that the bar is going to go up against. What I did was I spent a lot of time pulling beams and wood from our other farm. There's a barn that went down. I was pulling everything out of there, and my vision was to create a wall to put the bar up against. So the next project we're going to do is to actually build the bar. There's going to be a lower half and an upper half. So let's get in the shop and get started on that project. So we're back in the shop, and as you can see, I got started on the top half of the bar. What I'm gonna do is take this, it's an old maybe 1950 cab over hood from a Ford truck, and mount that to this framework up over the top because I want it to sit above the bar and mount a light underneath that'll shine down onto the bar. Took a little bit of fabrication work to get the hood attached and that, but I kind of finally figured that out. But as you can see in my original plan here, down where this would meet the bar, I didn't have any shelving or the 3 drawers that you can see here. So what I did as I was building this, I decided, I was making this and I'm looking at this space here, and I thought, man, it'd be kind of cool to have a couple drawers here and a little shelf. So what I did was I started building this shelf, and then I thought, I got this old cabinet that's sitting down at the other farm, and it had 3 drawers in it. I thought would be perfect for this. So I ran down, grabbed that cabinet, pulled these drawers out, started sanding them down, and there's actually some green in here that kind of matches the green on the hood, so I thought that was cool. I cut them down to fit the openings, but now because I did that, the one thing I do need to do is add some 14 gauge material on top of the shelf here. I'd like to go underneath this whole rack, and then also there'll be a shelf where this tubing is on both sides. Unfortunately, I'm out of 14 gauge material, but I know exactly where to get some. So we're gonna take a road trip and go visit our local steel supplier.
Hi Joel, how you doing today?
Good, man, nice to see you.
Good.
Hey, I got a project going at home. I'm building a bar that's going outside, and on top, I'm hanging this old Ford cab over hood. It's gonna look really cool. Got some steel coming down, and I decided to incorporate these drawers, which then means I need to build a shelf over the top, and I also need a couple small shelves on the side.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is some 14 gauge, but I don't need a whole lot. I don't need a whole sheet. So I wonder if you got an area with some cutoffs that I could thumb through and see if I can find something.
We've got some small pieces you can go through and see if we can get you something to work.
Great.
So the 14 gauge will be right here. If you want to go through it and see what will work for you, otherwise if you've got any questions, let me know and I can help you out.
Sweet, man.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel. Thank you.
All right, so let's go through here. I'm gonna need one piece, probably something taller, but wide. It was about 10 inches, that's not gonna work. Maybe this one here. 14. 60, I think that will work for the shelves. And we need one small piece. Let's go with this. 16. All right, that'll work for the side shelves. So I've got everything I need. Let's grab this and head back to the shop. So we're back from the steel supplier, and the first thing I need to do is take these spacers that I made and weld them between each drawer, front and back. Then I'm gonna take the smaller, I'll call it a support, and we're gonna run those underneath each drawer runner here. Then I'll also put one up on top in the center so that the drawer doesn't fall completely down when you pull it out. So let's get back to work. Oh, and by the way, warning, read and follow all labels and your owner's manuals. So we have all the pieces in place for the drawers. The next step is going to be taking that 14 gauge sheet metal that we got from the steel supplier, and I'm going to make the shelf for the top here to cover the drawers. There's going to be a bottom plate on here, and then also up about this far on each side there will be a shelf where these pieces of tubing are. So let's keep going. One thing I really like about the Hobart F clamps is the low profile that they have to them. When I'm using this circle guide and I need to run from corner to corner, I need to come right over the top of that clamp. If I was using a traditional style clamp, you can see it's too high and that would interfere with the cut. So if you don't have some of these in your toolbox, you should probably get some. So I just finished up cutting all the 14 gauge material for the shelves and the bottom piece. As you can see, these upper shelves that are going in here, I notched this out for the framework because when it's in place, I wanted it to mimic the hood here, the round of the hood coming outside the framework also. So it kind of ties that in all the way down. The lower plate will also do the same thing. So the last thing to do is get these welded in place and wrap the top half of this project up. So now that the shelves are done for the top half, let's get to work on the bottom half of the bar. So sometimes when you're custom building things, you'll make mistakes along the way. Here I happen to cut this piece of tubing a 1/2 inch short, so I made a little spacer to fit in there, slide that in, take care of that problem. Always remember, measure twice, cut once. So now that I have the lower half put together, what I'd like to do is test fit the lower and the upper half down at the bar. So I'm going to carry them both down, put a temporary wood top on here to support that upper half, and we'll see how everything looks. So meet me down at the bar. So I have the lower and the upper half of the bar in place. I really like how everything turned out. I love the drawers that I put in. Everything looks really nice against this back wall too. And the last thing I need to do is take this apart, and the framework here is all going to get rusted instead of powder coating. On the next episode of Backyard Bar, I'm going to be building a tractor hood table, so subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.